Alrighty, welcome back guys and gals, and today we have another Undisputed update from Steel City. Now this update goes by the name of the Easton Assassin, reason being the former world heavyweight champion Larry Holmes is now in the game. However, let's be honest, I don't think that's why most of you are here. I am but one voice in the community, and I've already made my stance pretty clear. I like to see less focus on new venues, new fighters, and perk changes, and more focus on the pivotal issues the community on Reddit and on Discord would like to see fixed in order for the core game to be playable. So let's break down what's on offer in this new update, and since I have played it for roughly 2 hours, I can confirm if these changes are hit or miss. Stay tuned till the end because I'll offer you my honest take on the pros and cons of the update and the future of Undisputed. We begin with new fighters. Larry Holmes added to the game. Holmes joins the heavyweight division. Kevin Kelly added to the game. Kelly joins the featherweight and lightweight divisions. Lerone Richards added to the game. Richards joins the middleweight and light heavyweight divisions. Surprise, surprise, we have a new venue added. The St. Andrews Sporting Club, a licensed venue from Glasgow, Scotland. St. Andrews is a compact 5-star VIP hospitality setting and is widely recognized as the home of Scottish boxing. Now I have to say, just take a look at this. This is a beautiful venue. The ambience, color palette, of course it helps that the fighters match in color. Great job Steel City. They've reworked the Santiago gym with new buildings and other slight adjustments, which I can confirm there are some notable improvements. However, they've also revamped the lighting in the Turner's gym. And if you have reasonable optics, you can see the blacks are way too strong. Let me know in the comment sections if you agree or disagree. However, for me it's a shame because this was always one of my favorite venues. We move on to general changes. Added a new results timeline cutscene for fights that end by flash knockout. Added a new timeline or cutscene for fights ending in surrender. Players will now see the corner throwing in the towel. Now I can touch on this because I've experienced it myself online, and the problem being is now when you encounter online disconnection issues, we have to sit through this cutscene, which isn't skippable. They've updated the instant replay system to include new special effects. I do see some improvements, however the audio levels I believe need some adjustment. Players can once again cancel or end their taunts early in online play, and during the tail of the tape in online fights, it now only takes one player to press skip to end the tail of the tape. If a player presses skip, the tail of the tape will end after 5 seconds. Now this is a fantastic addition to the game. The slight issue is, once you skip tail of the tape, you still have to sit through the ring walkouts if your opponent has not pressed skip. Everyone of course has a right to choose to watch these cutscenes. The issue I have is that if a player has disconnected before we get into the ring, we have to sit through this cutscene. So my recommendation would be to find a way to identify during the cutscene when a player has disconnected. It's infuriating having to wait 20 to 30 seconds to then have the online match get cancelled. We move on to gameplay changes. Reduce the movement speed of fighters when they're dazed, and I can demonstrate this for you playing against the overly evasive Tyson Fury. Usually he'd be able to walk backwards and I would have to chase him. In this case, I was able to send him to the gulags. So this was a nice addition, Steel City. Great job. They've also introduced stamina scaling across weight classes. This means that we're now able to balance stamina in each weight class individually. So heavier weight classes will use more stamina and should throw fewer punches than lighter weight classes. They've also slightly reduced maximum movement speed for all fighters. So this new feature I find to be hit and miss. I think it works out the gate really well in the heavyweight division. The fighters feel grounded to the earth under them. There's a very slight delay in momentum now. However, in the lower weight classes, in my humble opinion, the fighters feel like they're stuck in mud. Not just in movement, but also when throwing combinations. Body shots feel extremely slow, and that in turn deters me from using certain combinations which I was using before. Another major issue here, which I believe I can pinpoint using the new fighter Kevin Kelly for example. Here you see me throwing a normal body hook, yet when I throw a power body hook, it's a lot faster with no wind up. So I'm not sure if that's been taken into consideration, the speed of power punches relative to normal punches. We move on to AI changes. Introduced AI reactionary behavior specific to whether they're winning or losing a fight, as well as if they're receiving multiple illegal shots. AI improvements include movement into and out of the pocket, positioning when they're engaging, and punch selection when probing, engaging, or chasing a KO. They have fixed an issue where the AI boxer was getting stuck in a hit stun. They've They've adjusted when the AI boxer chooses to be aggressive to resemble a real fighter more closely, and they've improved AI behavior when dazed. Now, some of these improvements I did experience myself. However, the new slip mechanic that Steel City introduced 2 months ago is, in my opinion, worse than the back step straight, and the AI seems to be programmed to use this slip mechanic over and over again. It's incredibly off-putting. I stated the issue with this in my last video. There is no stamina cost when you use this slip mechanic, which means when a fighter throws a hook, they lose stamina, but when they lunge their entire body in one direction over and over again, their stamina remains the same. Make it make sense, Steel City. Come on. Outside of that, the AI, even on normal settings, offered a solid challenge. However, it would be nice to see the AI utilize the fundamentals far more. For example, what I prefer to see is better distance keeping and lateral movement based on the combinations that I throw, and of course to counter my own movement, because watching the AI use these huge movements over and over again to avoid shots is, to be frank, nauseating. We move on to fighter changes. It's another laundry list of variable changes, which I'm going to group as best I can. They've introduced a new moveset called Old School, which has been applied to Rocky Marciano and Joe Louis. I personally can't see the difference, so if you play as Rocky Marciano or Joe Louis, let me know down in the comments if you see any improvements. The undisputed Terence Crawford has had all of his stats essentially raised by 1 to 3 points, so I decided to give Terence Crawford a whirl, and I've got to be completely honest, this doesn't feel like Terence Crawford. Main reason being, he's not extending his punches. For example, here I am facing Canelo Alvarez, who I hope is using cheats, because if this is how Canelo Alvarez plays in the game, with the ability to throw jabs at rapid speed, which I can barely penetrate, then Canelo Alvarez is heavily broken. I'll expand on that in the end of the video. It's great to see Crawford's stats raised. However, his style of play needs to be updated to where he makes use of his length. The majority of better known fighters have had their main traits updated between 2 and 3. Notable fighters are Vasily Lomachenko, Ryan Garcia, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, Roy Jones Jr., Alexander Softbelly Usyk, Tyson Fury, Canelo Alvarez, Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Joe Louis, and Rocky Marciano. And before I offer my 2 cents on the state of the game, let's just cover some of the core bug fixes. Fixed an issue that caused some close left uppercuts to the head to not land properly. Fixed an issue where matchmaking timeouts were taking too long, and fixed an issue where muscle flexing was not working on multiple boxers. So, what are my thoughts on the state of the game so far? Well, first of all, many of these changes are a welcome addition to Undisputed. Steel City have already verified that they're working with external teams to fix networking issues. However, there is still no mention of the epidemic of cheating that occurs online. When you combine this pain point with the fact that many of the fighters are still overpowered, what you end up with is match after match facing the likes of Deontay Wilder throwing a power straight over and over again with what appears to be no stamina drain and with the ability to penetrate your block, which we question. Is this due to cheating? Is this due to the online issue that every 2 rounds, depending on who is the host, lock appears to be disabled? The punches are clearly snapping my head back despite me blocking. Deontay Wilder has every right to have a blistering overhand right. The problem is he never seems to run out of stamina, and I'm only using Deontay Wilder to highlight the major issue across the board, being that there is still a lack of balancing between fighters who have similar stats, and there are many punches, movement, and stamina perks on certain fighters which are being exploited by the online community, making the game a chore to play because it's not about skill, it's about winning at all costs. When we receive updates which introduce fighters, venues, and updates to a large amount of fighters, many of us are left perplexed as to why some fighters are still able to win the game repeatedly using 1 or 2 punches. We were told many updates ago that throwing combinations would reward you with the higher likelihood of dazing your opponents, yet that doesn't seem to be the case. Spamming power punches is still rewarded. In the next update, it would be nice to hear Steel City at least address the cheating epidemic, as well as focus their efforts on fine-tuning the punches which can be easily exploited in the game. Overall, this update takes us 1 step forward, and when combined with Steel City's confirmation that network issues are being worked on behind the scenes, I continue to give Steel City benefit of the doubt that they, just like us, want Undisputed to be the best boxing game there has ever been, and the potential is just around the corner. If you guys like technical boxing breakdowns, please consider subscribing and hit the like button if you found this update useful. Have a great week, take care, peace.